So sometimes nature is fantastic, and it has a vast array of ways that it propagates itself, or that we propagate them. Now, firstly, we propagate plants by division, by lifting the plant, dividing it, uh, and then putting it back into the ground, into a pot, or etc., etc. But there are different ways plants do it. It's not just that. And the reason I'm doing this video is I want to show you in a few minutes just what one of my grasses has done. And it's not unusual. It's not an unusual thing that they do. But it is a bit strange that they do it. And we'll go through that in a minute. But before we get to that, I want to show you this one here. Now, this, I'll just pull the label out. I bought this year from Beth Chatto's, and it's fantastic. I love it. And what I'm showing you here is another way that a plant can propagate itself, and this is called the mother of 1,000 plants. And all those little bits on the end, all those tiny little bits there, they're all new plants, and they'll drop off and they'll create something like that. And you should see these plants all over. I just love this one, and it's called Kalanchoe delagoensis. Gosh, a mouthful, isn't it? We'll show you the actual label I wrote for it. Kalanchoe delagoensis. So it's really good. So that's how it propagates itself, like that. Now, another thing that's real weird is some of the grasses. There's one in particular that it's called Fairy's Joke, and it's called a viviparia. And what it is the seed itself, the little seed. Once these plants develop seed, so a grass like this one, for instance. So this one is Eragrostis curvula, and it's one called Totnes burgundy, which in itself was an unusual one, which sported out from the ordinary Eragrostis, and it produces this burgundy colour, which is not so obvious here at the moment on this plant. It does it better as summer goes along, and it produces this red leaf. Now, my plant, about 4 years ago, maybe 5 years ago, of this species, which was Totnes burgundy, which is a cultivar, it produced plantlets on top of the seed, or the seeds turned into a plant. So what basically nature did was it decided, right, you're a seed, I'm going to make you grow roots now, and they grow roots on the seed. And it reproduces the plants. Now, that worried me on this one because with Totnes burgundy being a particular good cultivar with particularly good red stems, I thought that's not going to happen. That's going to go all green, but it didn't. I got 3 plants. I managed to select 3 of the plants and keep them going, and lo and behold, they all turned red. They do go red through summer, as I think you can just make that out. So that's what happens. So the seeds actually develop root systems, and then they drop off wherever they are, and hopefully they'll set themselves into the ground and off they go again. So in this case, it produced a particularly nice grass, and I've got 3 of these around. I'm keeping them. I'm not letting them go because they are a bit of a freak of nature, I guess, in this case. So that looks good. Now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take you to another plant, another grass that's doing the same thing. Okay, so here it is. It's China Clover rubra, and what happens normally is you can just make out the little seeds inside those leaves, and that's how it normally propagates itself. It normally sets seed, drops them, and off it goes again as the plant's developing. But as I said, there's a thing called viviparia, which every now and again plants can do. And in this case, I was wandering around this the other day, and I thought I'd actually dropped something in the plant, in the grass, because as I clean up, I tend to throw things around. But if you look down here, just there, there's a new grass, viviparia. There's seeds. There's another one there. There's another one down there, and I've no doubt if I look around, I'll find more. Around, yeah, there's one at the back somewhere around there. But they're producing little plantlets off the grass itself. So the seeds have developed and produced that. Can you believe it? Little freak of nature. Now, if we look closely at that, where my finger is, where my nail is, there's a little white section above it. That is a root. Just there, there's a root developing. Oh, actually, there's 3 more at the back I can spot. Now, what I shall do is I shall take those off as little plantlets and get them going. But it's another way that nature is really clever and it does that kind of thing. Now, I've noticed watching several videos or pictures this year that some of the other plants are actually developing a different way. So we'll wander over the garden here and show you what I mean. Now, the pictures I've seen on several grids is of echinaceas. And echinaceas aren't the only one to do it. There are other plants that do this same thing, this weird little thing. Now, this isn't doing it, but I just wanted to show you the echinacea so you know what I'm talking about. This is a particular one called Bressingham hybrids. And what some of them have been doing is from the seeds have started growing plants. The seeds have turned into a plant before they've left the actual flower head itself. And it's weird when you see it. I can't show you any, but if you just search on the internet, you'll find this to be true. And it's really weird. So that's doing nature a favour, and it's just bizarre. I find it bizarre. I find nature absolutely fantastic. We're in November now. Look at that. Still, that flower is still going for it. Beautiful. So that's what we'd expect. Seeds like that, they would drop to the ground and off we go. But with Viviparia, they produce little seed plantlets. So the seeds develop roots or into little plants before they've left the parent plant. They drop to the floor, and before we know it, we've got little plants for free. And it's great. Just a little quirk of nature. Just thought I'd take you through that one. Isn't it good what nature can do? Talk to you later. Ta-da.